Hey free-to-play gang, welcome back to another video. So we're going to take a look at Temporal 35, and yes, I've actually done it, but I actually accidentally autoed it through work. So when I was working, I was like thinking, okay, I'm going to stop at 34. But I just kept on going and I didn't even realize it. But of course, after I realized it, it was way too late. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to showcase my team here. But if you want to know what I brought, this is the team that I used to basically auto a lot of stuff in this tower. It is very powerful, but because I cannot showcase my team for Temporal Tower level 35, I'm going to go ahead into one of the account takeovers. Okay, so now we are on one of my viewers' accounts. This is Anos Voldigal. By the way, he is one of the top players in Global, so he's actually a tier 16 player. That's crazy, alright? So there is a lot for me to work with on his account. So this is the team that he has been running, so let's see how it works over here. He may have to raise the Suhua up to 6 stars, possibly for her to have a little bit more HP, but I feel like this team should work pretty well. Okay, it's pretty clear that he needs a little bit more HP on his Suhua. His Suhua went down super fast, so I have to, too many S's over here, I have to raise him up to 6 stars. I think that's the first step. She really deserves the 6 stars, especially if you're going to be using her in Temporal Tower, because she needs to be able to tank a lot. So because of that, I'm going to have to push her straight up to 6 stars. Oh my god, was this intent? He didn't even have relics on his Suhua. Okay, so I went ahead to upgrade some of his relics. So currently his Suhua has a lot better stats. You can rewind the video to see what's the difference. I mean, she wasn't even built. So let's try again, because we do not have a lot to work with, right? These are all the Espers that he has at 6 stars. And I don't think I really want to focus on any of his 5 stars. Unless, like, you know, we are talking about Longmian. But if we fail this run, then we may want to consider using a Longmian instead, just to see how his crowd control may work on the boss wave, which I think is also quite possible. Now, for good measure, let's take a look at the stats once again. She's rather slow, but that's because he's running her with Ocean Waves, which is fine. Okay, it's okay in my opinion. His Clara is decently speedy, this is pretty fast, and decently tanky as well, which is always a good thing, right? And here's his Li Ling. He does not have a full crit rate, which is his setback, but I think this is still generally very powerful because he multi-hits a lot. And here's his Sander, really good speed, but very terrible crit rate. I think 65% is a little bit too low for you to justify having crit damage, but that's just in my own opinion, okay? Because there's a lot of time that you're gonna miss your crit, and that's not gonna be very good, especially for his second skill, right? Because you need his second skill to crit. And then finally, of course, this is the Suhua I talked about earlier. So here are their stats. And without further ado, let's start. Now for the first wave, there is a Loyan, so we definitely need to take the Loyan out. So we are going to make sure that, okay, our Gabriel goes first, that's fine. Okay, so now we have our attack buffs moving before Sander. Previously, you know, Suhua was like way behind. That was like a little bit weird. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stun him. Usually I'll use my second skill first, but the thing is, I think stunning him takes priority. Okay, we failed to stun, that's unfortunate. Let me think, because this guy, he's only going to use his second skill on his second turn. I do not think I'll be able to lap him, so because of that, I have to drop my immunity right now, unfortunately. Okay, so now the Loyan has casted that reviving skill on himself, which means that we cannot take him out in one go. We need to hit him at least twice. We should be fine. Let's try this. We're gonna have to take him out twice, which I think is not possible now. Oh, right, he moved all the way to the back because he revived. So because of that, that's kind of like a good thing for us. We may still be able to turn this around, especially when Li Ling takes his turn, because we do not want him to use his third skill. That's it. Done. Okay, so that's the main thread of the first wave done. We will move on to the second wave. Okay, now the second wave. So what do we have here? Okay, we have a Gabriel, we have 2 Lin Xiao, we have Catherine. This is going to be very dangerous, especially if our objective is to stun them and all that. It's not going to work because of the Catherines and of course the immunity, right? So I think debuffing in general is just not going to work over here, which means that we need to use raw DPS to take out the Lin Xiao as soon as possible. We don't even need to care about the Gabriel anymore. So yeah, we are just going to go full DPS right now. Stun the Lin Xiao, it doesn't really matter because she's going to break out the stun. Oh no, she will not break out the stun, she's going to move first. Wow, she's faster than the Catherine. That's insane, man. Okay, so now the Catherine moved. Now the Lin Xiao cannot die. So unfortunately, what we can do is to just lower their HP, but we cannot actually kill her. So we have to just lower everyone's HP when their standoff buff disappears. That's when we normal attack them again. So like right now she has like 1 drop of HP, so that's where she will die. But the thing is, we need to make sure that we get rid of both of them roughly around the same time. Because if you kill one Lin Xiao, the thing is they're going to recharge their standoff buffs again, their third skill, which would then generate another standoff buff, which protects everyone again. So we do not want to go through that hell so many times. So we're not going to take out the Lin Xiao just yet. We are going to do it all at the same time. Okay, so one Lin Xiao is gone. Cooldown reduction, right? So now you can see she can use her third skill again. So that's when we pop the remaining Lin Xiao, which I think we can do with our Gabriel. So we're going to work on one of the Catherines first. And that's basically it. So that's the end of this specific wave. On to wave 3. Okay, so apparently this is hard even for the top player in Global. Or at least one of the top players in Global. So I've actually failed this a couple of times. And now my Suhua is at level 60. So we are taking a look at Immovable Mountain, where all units are immune to AP control. Which means that you cannot use AP up. Like for example, my third skill, that's not going to work. or you can also use like AP control, like for example use Melanie, that doesn't work over here. That is only one part of the problem. But actually honestly that's not really so much of a problem in my opinion, but the main problem here are the two Donars who can easily nuke down my Sander and my Li Ling, so that's gonna be hard. However, with that said, our objective right now is surprisingly just to get rid of the Ahmed as soon as possible, okay? Because if you go for Nama, chances are he's gonna heal Nama and that's gonna charge up a lot of stacks on Nama. That's what we want to avoid. But here's the thing, this is their only form of sustain. They have no other sustain. So the thing is, as long as you get rid of the sustain ASAP, chances are we can even outlive everyone here with just our supports remaining. Our supports can definitely 1v4 all of them, or rather 3v4. Okay, so now we gotta have to drop our defense break. If we fail to drop a defense break, chances are we're gonna lose our Sander or maybe our Li Ling, one of them. We need to make sure that the Donars are weakened. If not, their passives are gonna hit very hard. Come on, please. Yes! Okay, good. We got the defense break. That's really good. So now what will happen is that when they use their passive effect on their turn, it's not going to do a lot of damage, and with that, we should be fine. We should be fine. Okay, so we are just going to pop him straight away. Can we do it? Very close, very freaking close. We can remove the defense breaks if we want to. Yeah, actually, you know what? Let's do that, right? Let's do that. Let's waste it a little bit and let's get rid of him over here. Can we do it? Okay, we did it. Unfortunately, I have to use my third skill that charges out their passive, right? So there you go. But because of the defense break, that actually reduces the damage that they deal by a lot. So initially, they could completely wipe out my Sander. That's how powerful without the defense break they can be. We are glad that's over. So now that Donars are like kind of like exposed, we want to go for a Donar straight away. So we want to try to drop them as fast as possible because they are the remaining threat over here apart from the Nama. The thing is, the Nama, while strong, is not necessarily like a main threat because he's not going to do a lot of damage unless he has like 8 stacks. That's when he does a lot of damage, right? But I do feel like the Donars are immediately more painful to my Sanders because of the type advantage, which allows them to crit more often, deal a little bit more damage as well. You know what, honestly, I think we can just take out one of the Donar and then after that we can go straight for the Nama. I think that's a better choice because one Donar is not going to be enough to do any kind of damage that could scare me, but two of them, that's when it gets really tough. We're not going to attack the Donars now, therefore we're going to go straight for the Nama. Okay, so I think I should just heal, even though it's kind of a waste right now. But yeah, because of that, right? So I had no choice, I had to heal. Okay, we have to say goodbye to our Sander here, unfortunately. But it is what it is. We can still do this. So back to the Donar again. Okay, a better idea right now that I'm seeing is to just simply focus all of your Suhua's first skill onto Nama. Just make sure that he is attack broken and that should be fine, right? Technically can snipe him, right? But the thing is, what if I miss everything? So I'm gonna go straight for the Nama instead. How much damage can we do here? Good enough, good enough. Good enough for our purpose. How many stacks is that? 6? Is that 6 stacks? It is 6 stacks. Okay, 6 stacks is still very dangerous because he is going to ignore defense. Maybe I can show you over here. So the thing is, if he has more than 5 stacks, he will ignore 40% of the enemy's defense, but at 8 stacks, he actually reduces his cooldowns. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to protect our Li Ling here from this, basically. Yep, and now we can drop our AoE because the Donars, they no longer have the passive effect. And I think that's it. Okay, so the first time I lost this on his account, I wasn't prepared that the Donars were gonna do so much damage. And I didn't like take note of the Donars, so to speak. I used my Gabriel's second skill and I didn't manage to land any defense breaks and all that. So yeah, I think from here on, it's quite simple. We definitely have this in the bag. But obviously, he's using very, very premium Espers, right? He has Clara, which is basically the only premium Esper over here. It is a very strong Esper, but I do feel like Hengria can do the same thing. I tend to say that a lot, but I do believe in that. I do believe that Hengria is capable of doing the same thing. So right now, it doesn't really matter if we lose the Li Ling. It's just going to affect our runtime. We have technically won this because, like I said, taking out the Ahmed was the most essential thing to do at the start because that completely removes their only form of sustain, right? So yeah, so even though I lost my my Li Ling over there, we can still do this. Just drop him as soon as possible. Just go straight for the Nama and that's about it. The Nama is down and we basically did it. Oh my god, man, this took me so long, dude. It took me about 2 hours just to complete this whole thing. In addition to like building his team and all that, or rather like taking a look at his relics, shifting some relics around. This is exactly why I want to avoid doing Temporal Tower on other people's accounts. I really want to stay away from it, but I don't really have a choice this time around. Well, and obviously another thing that you should do is to make sure that your Espers are all 6 stars because you're basically at like end game, so to speak. This is like end game PvE, well, until the new bosses come around and all that, right? And if you're not able to clear it, yeah, do consider that maybe that's the reason why you can't do so. But anyway, that's it for Temporal Tower level 35. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. It really helps the channel, and subscribe for more Dislyte content. Now, this has been Daddy Free to Play, and as always, I will see you in the next video. And also, thank you to Anos Voldigal for lending me your account. Your account is awesome, just keep it up, and you are definitely able to clear Temporal Tower level 50. So all the best to you.